Hello, shooting sport friends. Greetings from the 16th Asian Championship in Shinkman, Kazakhstan 2025. Welcome. Thank you for joining us here at the Shooting Plaza and this wonderful final hall that up until today was only used for the 10-meter air pistol and air rifle competition, but now has been transformed for the first of the 50-meter events, the 50-meter three-position men's event we're gonna get to see today. Tomorrow we've got ladies shooting in the finals, but with the 10-meter air rifle, the women were on top of their game. Men had a little bit of a harder finals. We'll see how that translates to the 50-meter three position. Here are the event details. Of course, the distance is 50 meters. The athletes will be shooting 45 shots. We'll get into the details of that a little bit later. They're shooting with a rifle that's a maximum weight of 8 kilos, and they're shooting in 3 different positions: kneeling, prone, and the usually tricky one, the standing position that decides everything in the final of the 50-meter three-position rifle competition. These are the qualification results. At the top here was Chao Wen-yu with 587 points in total. Naoya Okada, who we've seen in the 10-meter final as well, had 585 points. We have Tomar from India in the 3rd position. We're gonna see how that translates also into the finals. We see the world ranking currently. Top here in the 10th position, who we're gonna see here in the final of an Asian Championship, is Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar of India, and right there on the 15th place, Chain Singh of India, who is also in the finals with us here today. So maybe we can call them the favorites, but you never know. We have some athletes from China who are debuting in the final, and we never know what to expect when these athletes are coming in fresh and new. So they might have shot in competitions in China, but we don't see those results on an international level right up until they come into a final of this size. And so far we've had many surprises from the Chinese athletes. Nevertheless, also another really big and important thing is the medal table of this competition that is currently still with China in the lead. India did win their 3rd gold medal yesterday, and so today they have another chance to climb that medal table and maybe get to a tie by the end, or even overcome China by the end of this Asian Championship, because China has been showing up and dominating so far. And we'll see how it goes for the athletes today. Coming out first on position A, it's gonna be Li Mu Yan, 21-year-old, one of the ones that I'm talking about. He is first time here at an international competition, and he's immediately in the final, so we don't know what to expect from an underdog from China. Coming out next, Naoya Okada from Japan. We've seen him in the final for the 10-meter. He did not have luck that day, was not on the podium, but he has another chance today in this final. On position C, coming in from China, 28-year-old Lin Fung. His first chance for an international medal. He almost got it in Lima this year at the World Cup. On position D, the top qualified in this final, currently on a world rank, Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar, the 24-year-old who already has 2 Olympic Games behind him, Tokyo and Paris. Wasn't on the podium, but nevertheless, it's a big thing being only 24 so far. On position E, the top qualifier, 24-year-old Chao Wen-yu of China, who is debuting in a final of an Asian Shooting Championship. The second Indian athlete on position F. Achil Sharan. Now we have Korean athlete Lee Jun-ho, the 23-year-old, also debuting in the final. And last but definitely not the least, Chain Singh of India, who won his first individual World Cup medal this year in Buenos Aires. So he might be on a roll for this year. Also, there is 3 Indian athletes in the final. A great chance for India to snatch a medal over here. That's the jury in charge and the chief range officer from Kazakhstan. The announcer right next to him. And the athletes are ready to take their position. The first position, which is the kneeling position, and shoot sighting shots. So they are already ready for the kneeling position. These are the 8 A2H. We have China, Japan, India, and Korea in the 50-meter rifle 3-position final for the men's event here at the 16th Asian Shooting Championship in Shymkent, Kazakhstan 2025. So usually they have this changeover time between the positions, but now they've come prepared to get into the kneeling position in a matter of a minute maybe, and then starting off with sighting shots. And they have enough time to get into the zone. You can see them preparing right now, doing it swiftly but precisely. Everything needs to be in perfect order. The 10-meter air rifle event is very technical. You can just imagine how technical it is for the 50-meter 3-position. The targets are way further there. These are the athletes in preparation. And we're going to see some of that changeover right here on the firing line. In the finals as well.
5 minutes preparation exciting time. Stop.
And was shocking those of this final. It will be low because the others will be shot 3 positions. Kneeling, roll, and standing.
They've started with sighting shots. So thank you once again for joining us. We are live on the Asian Shooting Confederation YouTube channel, and you can check out highlights of the finals at the Olympic channel site as well. Let's meet the finalists a little bit more. This is Li Muyan, 21-year-old from China, who is first time at an international competition and already in the finals. As I mentioned, we cannot know what he's coming with except for that qualification score. Now we know Naoya Okada a bit more. He's a 34-year-old from Japan. His best year so far was 2023 when he won a World Cup in Jakarta. He won a silver medal in Lima at the World Cup that year as well. And he's got a bronze medal from Asian Championship in that year too. He was in the finals 3 days ago, didn't end up on the podium, but he secured himself another potential to end up on the podium. We've seen him shoot 10-meter, we've seen him shoot 50-meter 3-position. This is not unusual that the athletes shoot both of the events at any given competition as well. Lin Fung, the 28-year-old, he was 4th in Lima this year at a World Cup. That's his best result so far at an international level. So this is another chance for him to win a medal this year. There are still 2 more World Cups to go as well. There's a couple more chances to get on the podium. But the first step is always to end up in the finals, which is not always an easy one. Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar, the 24-year-old from India, junior world champion of Lima in 2021. Already been to 2 Olympic Games, as I mentioned. 3-time World Cup winner in New Delhi. That was the first one in 2021. Then in 2022, it was in Changwon. And last time he was on the top of the podium of a World Cup was in Cairo in 2023. He was also the Asian champion of that year. Last year, though, he won a silver medal in Jakarta's Asian Championship. We have the very Asian champion here with us as well, who is defending the title of the 2024 Asian Championship. He's on position F, Ahil Sheoran. We'll get to him, I think, in just in a minute. But first we need to meet Chao Wen-yu a little bit more up close. Here is Chao Wen-yu. He is debuting at an Asian Championship in the finals. First 2 finals at a World Cup were this year. In Buenos Aires, he won the 8th place, and then he climbed a little bit higher and won a 6th place in Lima. So that's some progress he's shown throughout this year. This is his first time in a final of an Asian Championship. Maybe a great opportunity for the 24-year-old from China. And now we're coming to the Asian champion of last year, who is defending his title. Also a winner of the Asia Olympic qualification in Jakarta. It kind of went under the same name. World Championship bronze medalist of Baku in 2023 in the 50-meter 3 position. And he won a bronze medal in the World Cup final last year, which is kind of the strongest World Cup. Not kind of, it is the strongest World Cup of the year. On position G, we have Lee Jun-ho, the 23-year-old who's debuting in the final of an international competition. He was 13th at a World Cup in Bhopal back in 2023, and this is the first time he has done a qualification to a point where he found himself in the finals. Here is the world record, 468.9 after 45 shots in the finals. So here's how it's gonna go. The athletes are gonna be shooting 3 series of 5 shots here in the kneeling position. Then they're gonna have changeover time and sighting time to go into the prone position. In the prone position, another 3 series of 5. After that, another changeover, you guessed it, and sighting time to go into the standing position. Only 2 series of 5 over there in the standing position before they go into single shots. And in the last 5 single shots, all the decisions will be made. So Chain Singh is here as well on position H, the 36-year-old from India. He won his first international individual World Cup medal this year in Buenos Aires. He's got 3 World Cup medals in total with his team events, and he was the Asian champion of 2014 in the 10-meter air rifle event. So he's been in the game quite for some time. He's been on the podium of an Asian championship, at least in the 10-meter event. Now this is an opportunity for him to find himself on the podium of the 50-meter 3 position event. at an Asian championship. Okay, starting off, here's Thomas Farnik, the coach of India, and in this case, Chain Singh. The athletes have started off already with the first series of 5. And in this one, we do see ups and downs, but you really don't want to go below an 9.8, I would say. That's a nice 10.9 from the debuter. As I already mentioned, we never know what to expect from somebody who is very young, coming from China and debuting at an international level, because we don't know which level of shooting he is capable of, and also if this final hole and the spotlight on them is going to be overwhelming, or they're going to be able to stay cool and calm and relaxed and keep on going. These 5-shot series go pretty swiftly, and once we get to the prone position, that's going to go even faster. The athletes actually have the most time to shoot in the standing position, where they only have 2 series of 5. This is what it's looking like after the first series of 5 in the kneeling position. So the underdog takes the lead, 21-year-old Lee Mu-yan with 52 points, already creating a 0.6 of a difference between him and Tomar, who is highest in the world ranking currently. So he is challenging the favorite of the final. Nice, and the favorite strikes back with a 10.8. Lin Feng. That's a 9.3. You don't want to go that far away from the center, even in the kneeling position. And I think when you come to the standing position, a 9.3 is not such a bad shot, but you really don't want to go out into an 8, for instance, I think, in any of these positions. So being around a 10.7 throughout a, of course, 9.7 throughout, and of course 10.9 is sort of where you want to be most of the time in the kneeling position. When it comes to the prone position, you really don't want to get out of a 10, because that's where even one little mishap is going to send you down the rank very, very fast. Tomar, that was his third shot, a 10.6, going into a 10.5. Showing who's the boss. I think he is at the top of the rank right now. Sitting there pretty comfortably so far. Looks like it was a bit too much for Lee Mu-yan. Out into a 9.2 over there. Tomar wrapped up a really, really nice series of 5 over here. All pretty decent 10s. And established himself at the top of the rank so far. Oh, out into an 8.9 from Lee. Chao Wen-yu wrapped up with a 9.7, which is kind of the lower boundary of what you don't want to go below. Lee Jun-ho doesn't look too happy with what happened here. He is kind of holding that bottom of the rank over there, and that's a big difference between him and the debuting Lee Mu-yan. Tomar at the top, and as you can tell, that's a very comfortable difference so far. Only 10 shots in, and he's already snatched a difference of 1.6. If he keeps going, this might be a really easy final for him. But there's a lot in front of us. I call this the marathon of of all the events when it comes to shooting. You really have to do a lot. Maybe a triathlon even. Kneeling, prone and standing with all the changeovers in the middle. You have to be your own kind of do-it-yourself boss. Now Okada into 10.7 we just saw. 10.7 from Chain Singh as well. Chao Wen-Yu 9.9. As you can tell, the moment they shoot is the moment that they load back again, and they just don't even remove the rifle away from the target. They just stay in the target this whole time. And all of them do it the same way. Chain Singh 10.0 as his fourth shot. And he's reporting something potentially going on with either the rifle or the target. I'm not sure from this angle at this point, but I'm sure we're gonna find out soon enough. Lee Jun-ho wrapped up with a 9.4, and that's really not very good for the position that he's taking right now. Tomar experienced 10.4 at the top of the rank still, but I think we're gonna have to wait a little bit before changeover time because something was going on with Chain Singh. And it can be a number of things. I do not think it's the rifle though. Or what it might be is something either with the target or what is showing up on his screen. This is on the jury to decide, and the referees, of course, the chief range officer who needs to call stop. He just did. So Chain Singh has one more shot to shoot. Currently, on average, with the average score that he is somewhere in the middle of the rank. And yeah, now the jury is going over there to see what might have happened. If you've been watching the finals so far, we had the 10-meter air rifle finals over here in this final hall the whole time, and now it's being transformed into the 50-meter. It's been transformed into the 50-meter final hall. Sometimes, of course, there could be some sort of a technical difficulty, but I think the jury and the RTS had seen the problem, probably already came to a decision because they weren't really sticking around over there. They're coming back, and yeah, they're actually showing the distance pretty well with how long it takes them to go over to the target and back over here with the decision that they need to make and share with us, of course. I think there's going to be a little bit more time, and things like this happen. The good thing about this is that the athletes would be having changeover time right now anyway. The bad thing about this is they all have to stay in position of the kneeling position, which is not the best position to have to be sitting in. Now, Chain Singh gets the additional one shot that he didn't get to shoot in the last series. Oh, out into an 8.0.
7 minutes change over and starting time.
Unfortunately, honestly, I'm not really surprised with this one. Whenever you're the one with the technical difficulty or something is going on, I think he was the one who was startled the most. And then it's just not the best luck for this final. I don't know if he's gonna make it out of that 8. He was in a good position over here, but as you can see, the difference is quite high over here between the first 3 athletes and then the rest of them. Even the big difference between Chain Singh and Akil Sheoran, and we've only gone through the first position, the kneeling position. But changeover time is about starting now, and the athletes are changing over to prone position. What is really important over here is to change over as quickly as possible, because the best time you make, the more time you have for sighting shots, and they really have to change everything. Mostly what is even able to be changed on a rifle, they have to work with it.
After this, also we will change over for standing position.
They're working swiftly, they're working fast. It might seem like a bit of a breather to the match. It's actually a pretty key part of the routine. They have to take off gear, make small tweaks in the rifle setup, changing the sights. Some little details maybe that to us don't look very significant, but it makes a big difference. In this event, I think it's all about, of course, being precise and being able to do many things at once in a one final, but it's also about adapting. So each position feels like a little bit of a different challenge. Kneeling, when you're standing in that position, it can have a really controlled feel to it. It's very tight, you're kind of strapped in, and also in the kneeling position, your leg can go a bit numb for a minute. The athletes are already in sighting shots, now heading into prone. Everything about this is very much stability, completely minimizing the movement. We can see some statistics from the last shots in the kneeling position, and I think that we're gonna get to see some better shots when it comes to the center of the target in this prone position. The gear, of course helps, the jackets and the trousers, but as you can see, a lot of them choose to shoot the prone position without the trousers. That kind of adds on what they need to do in the next changeover time, but they will have enough time, 9 minutes in changeover, going into standing position. You don't want to play with standing position. That one is quite tricky. Most of the athletes exactly know what they need and how they need to feel to shoot the best they can. They put some mat, they always have a mat under them to always find a way, whether they want their elbow on the mat or off the mat. It's really quite personal when it comes to a 50-meter three position, and something that's super customizable, especially when you have to go through so many different positions in a very actually small period of time. Still 30 seconds on the clock. That was a fast changeover in the end. I think they were pretty good with coming into sighting shots, and from what I'm seeing over here, they started off a little bit scattered around the target. Unfortunately, you can't see it, so you're gonna have to trust my words on this, but they have found the center of the target more or less here in sighting shots. 5 more seconds. There's only room left for maybe one more shot from each of them, but nobody's gonna pull that trigger anymore. They're going into the first series of 5 in the prone position, and let's just go back to see what was going on in the standings after the 50-meter three position. Okay, now the differences are a bit different. It seems like there was a technical issue with the results, but it has been repaired now. I was also a little bit surprised over what was going on, but I think we're back into the game. It all had to do with that one target and what was happening with Chain Singh, who is currently holding the 6th position over here, and hopefully will be able to climb out of whatever happened in that last shot he had in the kneeling position. Nice 10.8 from Lee over here from Korea, debuting in the final here. He started off pretty well in the prone position, and as you can see, most of them are in the center of the target. Chain Singh coming back with a 10.9. Maybe he'll be able to overcome that one shot. You see that 15th one in the kneeling position. That was an 8.0 if I remember correctly. But a really good prone position might get him out of that situation. He is not too far down in the rank, and all 3 of the Indian athletes are top 5 here in the final for the 50-meter rifle 3 position. They got scattered a little bit right now with some 9s over here, but Lee got back in with a 10.6. There was a 9.9 from Naoya Okada, 9.1 from the debuting 21-year-old Lee Mu-yan as well. But after a blip, they all kind of find their way back into the center of the target. Tomar, who is at the top of the lead still, wrapped up with a 9.9. That's the lowest, really the lowest you want to go when it comes to prone position. I would even argue you don't want to go into a 9 at all when it comes to prone. But, you know, it happens. Of course it happens. Tomar at the top of the lead, 2.3 of a difference between him and Okada. And down there at the bottom of the rank, Lin and Lee. They're not in danger zone just yet. I wouldn't call it that, as they still have 2 more series of 5 in the prone position and then 2 more series of 5 in the standing position before the first big decision. That's 20 shots. That's really enough for the rank to change many, many times. Nicely started Naoya Okada with the best shot of the 8 here, 10.8. Lee Mu-yan having a little bit of trouble here with a 9.2, then a 9.8. All of his shots seems to be going a little bit to the left. It's pretty curious to know if it's about adjusting the sights or he is just pulling the trigger on the rifle a bit wrong, because as opposed to a qualification, there is no wind in here in the final hall. In qualification, they always have at least a little bit of wind, and they have these red flags that are showing where the wind is going, so they have to kind of adjust when it comes to that as well. At least in the finals, they don't have to worry about wind, so usually the prone position scores are pretty high. Chen Singh shot his 4th shot, a 10.8. Tomar with a 9.8. Akhil Shoran, 10.5. Tomar wrapping up now. We just saw 10.5 from the leading man of the rank. He's been at the top since probably the beginning of the final. That's a wrap up on the second series of 5 in the prone position. We still have 1 more going. Now the rank is kind of divided up until the 5th place. Then it's 5 points of a difference. It's a bit much to try and overcome, especially for a first timer, Lee Mu-yan. So at this point, I would say at least the last 3 athletes in the rank are kind of in orange zone at this point, let's say. Lee Mu-yan, Lee Jun-ho of Korea, and Lee Fung, all of them at the bottom of the rank right now. Great shots have been fired. 10.7 from Chao Ven-yu, from Lee Yun-ho as well. Tomar 10.7, then a 10.2. Naoya Okada managed to climb up the rank and took the 2nd position. Our first qualifier, currently in the 3rd position, Chao Wen-yu. He was climbing up the rank since the beginning of this year at World Cups. 8th place in Buenos Aires, 6th place in Lima. Now he took over the 2nd place at the Asian Championship. From 10.5 from Tomar. He is comfortably holding that lead so far. He doesn't seem stressed at all. He seems very, very focused. Here he is, just shooting and doing what he knows he can do best. Maybe even coming with that confidence of knowing that he's the highest on the world rank currently from all the men who are in the final. He wrapped up with a 10.7. And that's actually going to be it when it comes to prone position. We're going into changeover time. for the standing position. Let's see the standings after prone. 2.2 of a difference. Tomar in a comfortable lead over here. Chao, when you in the second position, who it was first qualified in this event. Naoya Okada, 0.2 of a difference. That's going to be a little bit tricky between the Chinese and Japanese athlete, and a little bit of a bigger difference, but I don't think we need to really stick to this one right now, because once we come into changeover time and the standing position, things are gonna get a little bit different. So anyway, 9-minute break before we go into standing. It's the third and the final position, and this is where things start to get really, really interesting. Prone is done. Most stable of the three positions that we have. You're grounded, you're tucked in, everything is anchored, and once you go into the standing position, that's when things get a little bit maybe even out of balance. It's the position that the athletes are shooting in the 10-meter event. Of course, it's something they know quite well, but at the same time, it's not the same shooting into a target that is 10 meters away as opposed to shooting into a target that is 50 meters away with no support, no sling, and just the rifle in front of you, fully balanced by your muscle control and your timing, and of course the help of all the equipment that the athletes have, the trousers and the jackets and the shoes that are tightly laced and holding them in position. But sometimes even that is not enough for a target that is 50 meters away. Already coming to the firing line. by now the athletes have been on the line for a while, so the concentration probably is starting to wear a little bit thin, especially they went through qualification as well. They went through 2 positions so far. The physical side might not be as intense, but the mental side could be a bit draining, being here in the spotlight and really knowing that each of these shots matter. Every single one is getting them either closer or further away from the gold, and 1 or 2 points can really swing the whole match. The experienced shooters usually have a bit more solid rhythm. They know how to take their time and rest between shots and kind of stay in control, but sometimes it can be super hard to do this under pressure, especially when you know the elimination rounds are right around the corner. We have 2 series of 5 now, that after which 2 athletes will be eliminated from the finals, which means it's really there already, and now they have 2.5 minutes to still prepare for their 5-shot series in the standing position that I've already mentioned is the trickiest one. Here is Tomar, for instance, for the last shot statistics in the prone position. I would say that we would expect a little bit of a higher result in the prone position from Tomar, especially knowing he is at the top of the rank. But I have to be honest, we've seen this happen in the 10-meter air rifle competition, where men were just having a little bit of a hard time in the finals finding their ways, and then later on the next day the women came with the 10-meter air rifle competition and just completely blew it out of proportion. It was just amazing to watch that final. If you missed any of the finals, you can always watch them at the Asian Shooting Confederation YouTube channel and the highlights on the Olympic channel site as well. Changeover time is still a minute and 20 seconds. Lee Yun-ho has been shooting a bit better in his last 5 shots, but before that he was having a little bit of trouble in the prone position as well. I hope you're ready for the finale of this show. Chain Singh managed to get out of his situation a little bit in the second series of 5, but then again dropped below the average that is absolutely needed to climb the ladder, climb the rank. He is currently in the 5th position. At the bottom of the rank, we have Li Mu Yan and Ling Fung, both athletes from China. And I think when it comes to the 10-meter air rifle competition, even air pistol competitions, these younger and new debuting athletes come in and they can end up on the podium. They can really shoot some great shots. But when it comes to the disciplines such as 50-meter 3 position, this is one that you really have to kind of go through many times. Somewhat of a king's discipline when it comes to shooting sport. I would say that for shotgun as well. In shotgun and in the 50-meter 3 position competitions, we do see that the athletes are usually a bit older, a bit more mature. But in the airgun competitions, we have a lot more younger athletes, even juniors, who decide to shoot in the senior competition. But looks like we're ready to start with the first series of 5 in the standing position. And for now, I have to say, some great shots have been fired, especially knowing that this is the standing position. Tomar hitting a 10.6, 10.3, and then a 10.5 from the top qualifier, Chao Wen-yu, who is currently in the 2nd position following Tomar. Here is our youngster, 21-year-old Lee Mu-yan, just shot a 9.8. Everyone is still in line of good shots. I have to say I am a little bit surprised. 10.9 from Lee Jun-ho. They didn't really show up perfectly in the prone position, what we usually see on the world stage. I was expecting a little bit of a lower result when it comes to standing position, but maybe these guys are just experts on the standing position. These are some great shots fired so far. Tomar not out of a 10 even. That's a 10.0. Chao Wen-yu, 10.5 as his last shot. 9.7 to wrap up the first round of 5. The better the scores here, the more likely we're gonna get a real show once we start with those single shots after the second series of 5 here in the standing position. Chao Wen-yu has a really strong rhythm, I would notice. Everybody else has a little bit of a slower rhythm in the standing position. It really depends from athlete to athlete. Naoya Okada, unfortunately, out into a 9.1. Not really the best shot you want to see, especially coming closer and closer to the first elimination. 2 of the athletes go out after the second series of 5. We're really close to a wrap-up on the first one. Shaoran and Singh still to shoot their last shot. Here they are on the screen with us. Some of the athletes, once they're finished, they still continue to aim and stay in the zone, stay focused. 9.9 from Chain Singh. Now it's only up to Akhil Shaoran. He's got 50 seconds. It's more than enough for one more shot. 10.4. Good thing he took his time. He is in the 3rd position, 1.4 behind Chao Wen-yu, who is following Tomar by still quite a nice difference for Tomar, 2.1. Now the differences have gotten pretty higher than they were during the prone position. So far 35 shots. Once we get to 40, the lowest 2 are out of the final currently. It's Lee Mu-yan, the 21-year-old, who is first time at an international competition. And Lin Feng, who is currently in the 8th position, the 28-year-old from China, who ended up 4th at the World Cup in Lima this year. Now he's in real danger zone, just 1 series of 5 away from the decision. Out into a 9.2. He is not giving himself any favors here. And as I already mentioned, by this time now, the concentration is wearing a bit thin, I'm sure. The athletes have been here on the line for almost an hour now, with all the introductions in the beginning, sighting time in the kneeling position. It surely takes a toll on the concentration as well. And we are only now approaching the biggest moment of the final. So, yeah, this event is truly also a lot about endurance as well as anything else. 10.6 from Lee Jun-ho of Korea. Lin Fung, 9.9. Hasn't been doing great, as you can see, in the standing position. He already didn't have a lot of advantage from the first two positions either. Akil Sharan into a 9.5. Expected to have a 1 or 2 nines in the standing position. Even on a world level, at a World Cup, Lee Mu-yan, 9.3 and a 10.7 for a potential wrap-up of a final for him. We shall see. He is holding that 7th position. It's up to everybody else in their last shots. 10.6 from Lee Jun-ho. I think he's pretty safe to stay in the final at this point. And Akil Sharan, I think his rhythm has been the slowest. Ooh, yeah, there you go. 8.7. That could have gone in favor of the last two athletes. He still has one more shot to shoot, and now with the pressure of shooting a bad one, he's at the 5th position, but it might be too big of a difference nevertheless for Lee or Lin to stay in the final. Managed to wrap up with a 10.0 over here. And it's the first two decisions of the 50-meter rifle 3-position men's event here at the 16th Asian Shooting Championship in Shymkent, Kazakhstan 2025. The 8th place goes to Lin Fung of China. Of course, the safety flag needs to go into the rifle. A 7th place for the first time debuter, 21-year-old of China, Lee Mu-yan. I'm sure that after such a final, these athletes can get a really good night's sleep. This is high pressure and high focus. And to be able to go through this and endure such a final, really have to be top notch. We go into single shots now only. Currently in the red zone, in danger zone, Lee and Shaoran, Korea and India. So we can focus a bit on those two to see what happens. Lee, 10.4. Oh, Akil Sharan, 8.8. But nevertheless, and this is what I was saying somewhere at the beginning of this final, you really want to go and have as many and as high of a score possible. So when it comes to this moment, and if you have a mishap like an 8.8, that you get to stick into the final still, potentially, which is exactly what just happened with Akil Sharan, who's starting to kind of fall apart now in the last few shots. He had that 8.7 as well, and we'll see. But nevertheless, Lee Jun-ho of Korea winning the 6th place, and we go on with another single shot, the next one to decide on the 5th place. There's been enough pressure on Akil Sharan so far, I think. The bronze medalist from Baku's World Championship in 2023 in the 50-meter 3P. He won one World Cup back in 2018, but last year he won a bronze medal in Cairo again. $10.5. All right, I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to stay in the final, but it's going to be a nice last shot after having a couple of blips in this final, especially in the last few shots. Decision of the 5th place, it's Akhil Sheoran of India, who was under the pressure of defending kind of the title because he won that Olympic qualification last year of Asia. So I'm sure he wanted to find himself on the top of the podium once again. But he's left it to Naoya Okada. Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar, Chao Wen Yu and Chain Singh to battle it out. This one is one of the most pressured, I would say, shots. This is the decision for the 4th place and the decision of the 3 podium winners. Unfortunately, it's going to be Chain Singh. I would say he just did not have a lot of luck when it came to this final, having that technical difficulty with his target as well, shooting then that 8.0. That might have changed the trajectory of his final, and just he was really fighting hard, but in the end it's the 4th place for Chain Singh of India, who won his first individual World Cup medal this year in Buenos Aires. Good final for Naoya Okada. He was in the 10-meter event, didn't end up on the podium, but now got his chance, and he's sticking to it. 10.1 from Naoya Okada, potentially with a bronze medal, even though that was a pretty good shot in the standing position, but really it depends on everything that came before that, kneeling prone. And a bronze medal for Japan. Naoya Okada managed to take this second chance and not let it go. That's the first medal for Japan at the 16th Asian Shooting Championship. We are almost at the end of this competition, and this is really a great moment for Japan. I am sure a first medal for country of Japan. One more shot to go, and the big battle between the giants, India and China. Let's see, 10.8 from the first qualifying Chao Wen Yu, 10.0 from Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar. That's not gonna change the rank. He was holding the lead the whole time. What an amazing final for Tomar, I have to say. The 24-year-old, I mean, this guy has experience. He won 3 World Cups so far, back in 21, 22, 23 as well. Last year we didn't see him at the top of the podium of a World Cup, but he was also an Asian champion of 2023, and now once again at the top of the podium, Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar of India, winning India another gold medal. Let's not forget about the top qualifier of this final, Chao Wen Yu of China, the 24-year-old who was in the final of an Asian championship now for the first time ever. This year he was climbing up the rank from Buenos Aires, winning the 8th place, to Lima winning the 6th place, and now finally he finds himself on the podium next to a really good athlete, that is Aishwarya Pratap Singh Tomar. Very good line of athletes today here on the podium. I think Naoya Okada is pretty happy with the bronze medal and bringing the first medal to Japan. And yeah, that was That was an amazing final, I have to say. 50-meter rifle, 3-position men's event is wrapped up for today. And if you love this discipline, don't worry, we still have one more tomorrow, the women's event. And I'm really excited and curious to see how it happens with the women tomorrow. So come back and watch that wonderful event with us one more time. Tomorrow we also have the trap events, so make sure to follow what happens tomorrow. It's a really packed day. My name is Martina Lucic, and it was a delight to be a commentator here in the 50-meter rifle 3-position men's event at the Asian Championship, and I'll see you in the next days as well.